Hello, Master Numerologist Andre Alva Moore, and today's lesson is on war, W-A-R. Now, like most of you, my heart was heart-stricken when the Syria government dropped that chemical bombs on those innocent children and those civilians. And my heart went out to them and their family, and I just couldn't understand how a person could be so disconnected to life that they so easily would take another person's life. And to drop chemicals weapons on a person was just pure torture. And to see those little babies robbed of their lives really affected me, and it affected the whole world. And our president, Donald J. Trump, retaliated by sending forth 59 Tomahawks missiles to give King Assad a warning that he crossed a red line. And I'm just praying that this type of vibration do not become more enraged, or I'm just hoping that the vibration do not lead to retaliation from Russia or from King Assad or from Iran. So anyhow, I thought about war, and this is what I came up with, looking at it through the eyes of a numerologist, looking at the number patterns of war to see if numerology can provide some type of insight to the madness of war. It has always been troubling for me is why mankind persists on declaring war on one another. It has gone on for so long, and it is still going on. What is it about? What is it about death that man gravitates towards? Why does he have so much disregard for life, that he takes another person's life so readily? My heart goes out to those people that lost their lives when America retaliated, and a lot of Iranians and a lot of Syrians, they lost their lives. A life is a life, and death is death. And we have to move our consciousness from death into life. And we seem to having a hard time doing that. And it seems as though we're taking a very long time to move into the consciousness, whereas all life is sacred. So this is what I came up with. Webster's New American Dictionary defines war as a struggle between opposing forces for a particular end. Now, some religions teach in their doctrine that a person has two opposing forces whispering in their ears. These forces are good and evil, dressed in the clothing of angels and devils. How will I behave is a daily struggle, a struggle that mankind struggles with his entire life. Mankind instinctively knows the difference, yet he chooses to do mischievous deeds to each other. Some people place the blame for their wayward actions on outside influences that they use to justify their behavior. They refuse to take responsibility for their actions. Now, life is about choices, and we live and die by those choices we make. Mankind lives in a sea of duality. There are 7 energy centers in the body, and we call them chakras. Sometimes we refer to them as wheels because that's what they do. They twirl. There's 7 of them. The 7 major ones. You have more than 7, but there are 7 major ones. Okay? And the bottom 3 chakras influences our will to survive at any cost. The survival, to defend ourselves, to protect our homes, to protect our families, to be able to make sure that we can gather food. It's just a basic lower nature that is there so that we would fight to live, that we would fight for survival. That's what the lower chakras is about. Okay, so so the bottom 3 influences man's will to survive at any cost. If he feels threatened, he will fight to protect himself and his family. And if he's hungry, he will steal. And he will lie and he will manipulate if he feels that that will gain him an advantage. Okay? That's just basic, and I believe everybody at some point has engaged in that type of behavior. Okay, it's like there's no escaping. But even in the lower chakras, you have to learn to respect life as well. For example, the American Indians, they did not hunt for sport. They didn't go and kill a buffalo just to cut off the buffalo's head and mount it, somewhere. They understood the balance of life, and they only took what they needed. They hunted the buffalo for their food and for their clothing, and they let the rest remain. They knew instinctively that they had to survive, but they also realized that there must be a balance in life. We have people now that goes killing for sport. That is not balance. That is out of balance with nature. Okay? Now, so the lower 3 chakras is about survival. But then you have 4 higher chakras. And those chakras is trying to get mankind to lift their spirits upward. Okay? To work to put food on your table as opposed to taking somebody else's resources, denying them so that you can have. See, when you take something from someone else that don't belong to you, that is like sinking into the lower negative challenging aspects of your chakra. Your higher chakras is telling you, listen, grow your food, and you can also share your food. See, sharing is a uplifting of one's consciousness. So the higher chakras is a call for you to reach higher, to work to put food on your table, to help your brother if your brother is in need, to learn to live in harmony with your brother and your environment. Now, you must also strive to know yourself and to develop some type of relationship with some type of higher power. Now, these 2 forces appears to be running in opposite direction, and this what confuses man. He has a problem distinguishing right from wrong. He justifies his wrongs, saying that it is right. And a lot of times his actions are not right because he's confused and he don't know how to choose correctly. And when you have 2 opposing forces, when they meet and then they fight, that is war. Okay? Now, everyone is at war with themselves. Everyone is struggling to find peace. And if they find peace, then they struggle to keep it, to attain it. Everyone's doing that. It's a daily struggle, right? Everyone is fighting to do what is right, and we are also fighting not to do evil. It's a daily struggle. Now, war has 3 letters, and the number 3 rules communication. Now, when those opposing forces whispered in your ear, how are you going to respond? Because you're always getting the ideas in your head. Should I take or should I give? Oh, somebody left their door cracked. Should I go in there or should I not go in there? It's the decisions that we make constantly. Every day we're making constant decisions. We're warring with ourselves. The the voices in our heads. Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I do good or should I do evil? That is the war. So how are you going to respond? Every man must decide how they're going to live his or her life. The first letter W is ruled by the number 5, which is the number of change. During the course of a day, you must make many decisions, and the choices you make can alter your life in a positive or negative way. How you communicate with people could either endear them to you or create a hostile environment. Remember, harsh words can lead to fighting, while sweet words could lead to friendship. So once again, there's a choice. You meet someone. Are you going to uplift that person, enrich that person, or are you going to find fault in that person and condemn that person or ridicule that person? And the action that you take is going to set up a response from the opposition, from the person that's standing in front of you. And you have to stay in consciousness and you have to stay in awareness. And war can change one's life rapidly. When 59 Tomahawks bombs is aiming at you, your environment changes, the life around you is going to change, and then there's always going to be consequences. What happens next? Life is a thinking game. So now the second letter A is ruled by the number 1. One person could light a match and set a forest on fire, or the same person can strike a match to provide light. Once again, it's the choices you make. You can extend your hand to help, or you can ball your hand up and make a fist and strike. The third letter R is ruled by the number 9. And war is a very heavy vibration, and no one wants war, yet everyone is at war with themselves. Marriages, people's constantly fighting. Nations constantly fighting. Friends fighting. One day you're my best friend, the next day I hate you. Fathers and sons and more mothers and daughters. It's just, it don't take much to trigger where one day we're lifting you up and the next day we're trampling on you. It don't take much, and this is why. When we add those 3 vibrations together, the 5, the 1, and the 9, we're going to get the number 15 reduced down to its core essence of the number 6, and there's the essence of war. The war starts from an emotional place, okay? Control your anger. If someone says something or do something to you that strikes a negative emotional core and anger is generated, now, when you don't control that anger and when it's not contained, it can and it does become explosive, right? You're on the highway, you're driving, someone cuts in front of you, right? You move from one emotion of perhaps feeling joyful and happy to another emotion of you're mad now, you're angry now. You know, this person cut me off, I could have lost my life. I'm going to respond and I'm going to chase this individual, right? And you follow the individual, and then you trap the individual, and then y'all have words, right? And if that anger is not contained, something may jump off. So the core essence of war is stemming from emotions. And so we have to learn to be slow to anger, but quicker to love. Slow to anger, but quicker to love. It's your choice whether you're going to have peace in your life or war in your life. And I'm going to tell you one other thing, that when you think anger, it is not self-contained. When you are angry, that emotion is not self-contained. That energy goes out from you like a cloud, and it travels and it becomes attracted to other clouds of anger. Okay? And when these different clouds of anger become attracted to each other, it becomes stronger, it becomes more powerful, and before you know it, there is an explosion. The opposite works true as well. If you send out love and compassion and understanding and sensitivity, those clouds of emotion goes out as well, and they are attracted to other similar positive uplifting clouds of emotion as well, and it creates an explosion, but it is an explosion of peace, love, and serenity. So come on, you guys, let's stop with the warring and let's start with the peace. Let's move from the I am not vibration to the I am vibration. You and I are the children of God. Let's start acting like we're divine being, and let's move from our animal nature to our God nature. Peace.